Welcome back to another video, everyone. We're here with a very spooky review that we've got going on. It feels like it's been forever since we taken a look at a horror figure, and especially a Neca horror figure, and especially from the Universal Monsters line. That's one of my favorite lines. I absolutely love the Universal Monsters line that Neca has been doing. They've been doing a fantastic job, and this figure I have been highly anticipating to come out forever. It's so cool looking, and it's such an iconic scene from an iconic movie that there was no way I was skipping out on this. So we are taking a look together at the Bride of Frankenstein, Frankenstein's monster with the chair. This thing came to me out of nowhere. This thing just appeared on my doorstep with no emails, no nothing, no confirmation whatsoever. It just appeared. So this is the box itself. Very, very cool. It just gets you so hyped for it, and I am just very excited for looking at this figure. Now, of course, this is the 11th figure of the Universal Monster Studios line. I have 10. This would count as number 10. There's only one figure that I am missing, and it's the London After Midnight figure. I will be picking him up whenever I see him again, but we'll see. I'm on the search for him. So, of course, this is based off Bride of Frankenstein, which came out in 1935, which is a while ago. And, of course, it's the sequel to the 1931 Frankenstein movie. And it's also our second figure that we've gotten from the Universal Monsters NECA line. That's Frankenstein, which, honestly, I feel like NECA could really make a lot of different Frankensteins, because Frankenstein has gone through a ton of variations, because of course you have the first one, you have the second one here, you have Son of Frankenstein, which has an iconic look, you have, Ghost of Frankenstein, which was played by Lon Chaney Jr., then you have Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, you have, what came next after that? Was it House of Frankenstein? I think. Yeah, it was House of Frankenstein. You got Frankenstein Meets Abbott and Costello, which you could kind of count those two as the same, but Frankenstein has kind of went through a lot of different actors, but you can make a lot of different figures with them, because I feel like they are all unique in their same way. I feel like the Frankenstein monster could be McFarlane's Batman. This because McFarlane makes a shit ton of Batmans. NECA could make a shit ton of Frankenstein monsters, and still I would be buying all of them. But this is a really cool one. I am very excited for this one. This one was announced, I think it was in February of this year, but I also think it was a little bit sooner, because I did see some early images of some figures at some kind of con, and I just remember seeing early photos of this, and it just got me hyped. But it could have been just in February, and it just feels like it's been a long time since I've been waiting for this figure. But without further ado, we're going to get right into this. We're going to be taking a look at the box itself. We're going to be taking a look at everything that we usually do. And yeah, I am so excited. I cannot wait. So let's get right on into it. So here we have the box itself, and this is a beautiful looking box. Now, I've been collecting the front parts of the packaging, because I really do like the way they look. They all have the unique posters for each movie. But this one's kind of hard to really say if I'll keep this or not, because I don't really keep the boxes, but I like keeping the front of the NECA boxes. But God, this one's so cool. I think I might just keep the box itself, but I have nowhere to put it. That's the problem with collecting boxes. But this is such a beautiful image. This is the exact same. This is an image from the actual movie. It looks very HD looking, and it looks super fucking cool. Look how amazing that looks. I think that looks fantastic. I love the way the colors look. I mean, it's black and white, but I love it. It's such an iconic scene. The monster demands a mate, the Bride of Frankenstein, ultimate Frankenstein's monster with chair. It's freaking cool. You have the Universal Monster logo right there. At the top, you have a picture of the figure with some more of the wording that you saw there. You have an image of the monster right there with the Universal Monsters plus the NECA logos there. You have another image of the monster in the chair, same thing over here, and then images of the monster with a couple of his accessories, and you get to see just a little bit of what he comes with, and he even tells you all the stuff that he comes with. But it's really, really cool, and of course, each NECA figure does have the opening window where you can take a look at the figure inside, and also a nice little image right there, which is kind of cool. I really do like how they added the bride a lot, and I really do like the set pieces that they have. Even the table makes a comeback, which I think is really, really cool. But this is what we are here for, this whole little set right here. So we're going to take a look at this figure, we're going to unbox him for you guys, and we're going to take a look at this guy. Now we're going to be kind of going into this blind, so you're going to be experiencing this firsthand just like I am. So first of all, of course, I was not expecting the base. I don't know why I was not expecting the base at all, but it just kind of surprised me it was there. But it appears that it's pretty self-explanatory. You just put in the chair just like this, and you just clamp it in like so. It should not be that hard, so I'm going to see if I can do it first try on camera. And it looks like probably put in the back first, and then you clamp it down, correct? Not crazy. Come on. You can also probably watch me break this firsthand. There we go, there's one part. Now it's just the front. You kind of really need to push it in. There we go. Oh, I had it. We're almost there. We almost got it. You kind of got to push it in because there's like these little lips at the bottom, so you kind of got to push it in itself. But that's fantastic. Holy shit. We're going to take a look at the restriction chair first, and then we're going to move on to the other little accessories. Also, what I think is really cool that I think I should point out is that it actually comes with a little bag, so you can put its accessories inside. That's pretty cool. I will not be using this, like, at all, but it's cool that there's an option for that. I think more figures should have little options for this. Yeah, I think that that's an awesome way to store your stuff. Now, I have a better method of storing stuff, so the little baggie is really cool, but I will not be using this, but it's really awesome. But the chair itself, wow. The amount of detail that is on this thing is amazing. So it is all plastic. I mean, it just feels all plastic, but it's heavy, and I really do like how they did all this. The chains, all the chain pieces, this little parts right here is plastic, but these little chains here, these chains here, I think this is plastic as well, but the chains themselves are real metal, so you do not have to worry about breaking those. But it looks fantastic. I love the amount of detail that they added to this chair. It looks fantastic. I love the wood, the way they sculpted the wood, how they painted everything. It just looks awesome. This is an accessory set that we need a lot more of. I think if they're going to do more accessory sets, this is the standard that they should do so far. The Frankenstein table, the mummies thing, and the coffin that the NECA came out with for their figures is really cool, but adding the figure itself is awesome, and I think that this is an awesome accessory set, and yeah, you could not have it without. So if you want to put these little pieces on, you pretty much just put these little peg pieces into the holes here. I don't think there's any right way of doing it. You pretty much just put that there, then you cuff the hands onto the actual figure, and you can have them on the chair itself. Now, the one thing that I'm kind of bummed about this chair is that you really can't unlock this part, which I was kind of hoping you would be able to, because in the movie they do show that they do lock it in place, and it kind of sucks that they don't do that. So I think that's kind of lame, but I can't really complain too much. These little straps here are kind of just loosely there, but I'm sure they work very well. I gotta remember how everything works, and see if these chain pieces have a function. But it's really cool. It's so cool looking. Like, I'm so happy that we got this thing. It looks amazing. Easily you're going to be displaying your monster either sitting on the chair or breaking out or just having it standing here. It's an amazing looking display base, and I think it just looks fantastic. And it definitely is a pretty big size too, so you're going to need a little bit of room when it comes to displaying this. And honestly, might as well just do this right here just to show you the width of this thing, which comes out to roughly about there. So if you have a little spot for that, I think that would work. This whole other side just comes out to 6 inches, which is pretty nice. How tall it is, let's see if we can kind of get this to an accurate, you can kind of see it right there, almost 8 inches, which is pretty cool, but I think that's pretty much all you need for measurements if you guys want this in a display but don't know how to really fit it in without some proper measurements. There you go. And I try to help a little bit. So yeah, this is gonna be so cool. I cannot wait to display the figure like this. But we do have some other accessories that we do need to take a look at. So we have all of our other little accessories here, one of them being the cup. These little 3 accessories right here, and I guess this one as well, all kind of relate to the scene with Frankenstein stumbling upon the blind man, and the blind man takes care of him. And it's a very emotional scene. That scene is probably one of the best scenes in the movie, but it just kind of, these little accessories are kind of just showing the blind man interacting with the monster, teaching him how to speak, and you know, just making him feel like an actual human being, you know what I mean? But he does come with the cup, which I really do like the cup. It's very, very simple. It just kind of has this brown look to it. The sculpt work is very, very nice, and I do like the drip of the liquid that is kind of just running down the cup there. You can kind of see a little bit of something else in there with some bubbles, which I think is really cool that they added that. So you can kind of see it, but the little bubbles in there. I think that's really cool. But yeah, that's the drink. That's the drink that he drinks. So yeah, he also does come with the bread, which is also in that exact same scene as well. Very, very nice looking. I like the sculpting. It honestly makes me a little hungry, but it's really cool. And I do like how there's like kind of a bite taken out of it. I really do like that. But the sculpt work is phenomenal for this piece of bread. I think it's awesome. And then you have the little soup, which this is the soup I believe was at the very first part where the monster comes in and the blind man gives him the soup, and then he sends him to bed and prays over him that night, which is a very touching scene. I absolutely love that scene in the movie, but it's cool that they give us this little accessory. It's nothing fancy, but it's awesome. I really do like that. He does come with some hands as well. On the standard figure himself, he does have kind of just these relaxed hands. He also does have these kind of grabby hands, which are mainly for the bread and the drink, and also, you know, just for choking somebody if he wants to. This one would definitely be one he would probably kill somebody with. And then he has the smoking with the cigar, where he just smokes up with the blind man as he plays the violin. Which is really cool. The sculpt work on the hands is very, very nice. I really do like it. It looks very bloodied and beat up, but that's because he's burnt, you know, that's his whole thing. And you can kind of see the differences between the two hands. One of them just has burn marks on it, and the other one has just these injuries. And he also does come with 2 different head sculpts as well. 3, actually. He has kind of the this one right here, which is kind of just the chillaxed one, and he's got this smiling one and the angry one, which we will be taking a closer look with these head sculpts when they're on the actual figure. And speaking of the actual figure, I think it's time to bring him out now. And here we have the monster himself. It's beautiful looking. This is like a 1-to-1 with the actual movie. It's insane on how good this looks. I absolutely love it. I think this is the most accurate figure that they have for their NECA line. It's really hard to say, but I think that this is one of my favorite NECA Universal Monster figures. because it's so awesome. The sculpt work is fantastic. Like, look at how they did it. It's awesome. I think the only thing I can complain about is, I believe I saw this on the packaging, and I'll probably have some references on the actual video, but on these sleeves here, you can kind of see there's kind of a dust effect here. It's supposed to be a little bit more wider than it is on the figure, but that's just a very small nitpick. Everything else is perfect. The sculpt work, again, is fantastic. I love how everything looks. So I wanted to look at the actual clothes real quick before anything else. This clothes work is just fantastic. Like, look how amazing that this sculpt work is. I love the tattered clothes. I love the burn marks, because of course at the end of the first movie he is trapped inside the windmill when the townspeople burn it down, and at the very beginning you could see him all just burnt up, battered, like he's been through some stuff in just that short amount of time. But it's insane on how good this looks. I absolutely love it. I love the arm. I love this arm. This is so cool because I love just how burnt it looks. It's freaking cool. It's fantastic sculpt work, and it's just awesome. But yeah, it's very simple in the paint department. I don't really want to say simple because this is amazing. There's so many little specklings of detail with the paint. The buttons are even painted. It's overall fantastic looking, and I am like utterly impressed on how good they did this figure and just the amazing amount of work that they did with it. The likeness to Boris Karloff is uncanny. This is insane looking. This is by far one of my favorite NECA Universal Monster head sculpts because this just looks fantastic. Like, look how amazing that looks with all that detailing, the burn marks, the scars that look fresh, and I love that you can see like the stitch lines here, and it just kind of goes all the way around the head. I love kind of the dust effect as well that this figure gives out. The bolts on the neck are very nicely done, and it just looks gruesome, and I just love it. Trying on the other heads, which are also really nice, we have the more angry head sculpt, which looks fantastic. It looks exactly like Boris Karloff, and it's just amazing looking. I love how they sculpted the teeth. I love how they just did everything. It's so amazing. It looks just as good as the first head sculpt. I think the burn marks here are just a little bit more highlighted, but I think that's just me. But it looks awesome. And then of course we have the smiling head sculpt, which looks awesome. I love the way this head sculpt looks. I was a little scared that this was going to look a little too goofy, but it looks awesome, and it just reminds me of when he's in that cabin and he's listening to the blind man play the violin and he's just dancing along with him, or when he gets like a little tipsy with Dr. Pretorius and they're talking about creating a mate for him. It's just awesome. It's such an amazing looking head sculpt. I think my favorite though is just this neutral head sculpt because it just looks so cool, and it is on a ball joint, so it just kind of stays like that. It looks awesome. It's absolutely amazing. So the articulation is pretty, standard with these figures. He has 2 points of articulation at the neck, which can make him look up that far, down that far, got some side to side, and of course the swivel here. He has the arm movement that can go out that far, and he can do a full rotation. He has a swivel at the vice or the elbow here with a bend at the elbow as well. He has some wrist, kind of forearm articulation, just a little bit, not too much, and he has some wrist swivel here, of course a hinge joint as well. He has a waist or like a chest movement here, a waist movement, which can kind of give him a nice crunch here and can go back that far and a little bit of side to side. The leg can go out that far. It can also go back that far, nothing too much because that monster butt is in the way. He's got a bend at the knee, which is very, very nice. He's got a hinge joint at the foot, and he's got the pivot as well. So the articulation, I think, is just top tier. They always do such a good job with how this figure looks, and it's amazing looking. It's amazing on how they got this figure. But yeah, it's amazing. So I think that it's time to get him with the chair. So once you get your monster into your seating position, you pretty much have to take his hands off, which is pretty vital. And then you put these chains right around his wrist, which is pretty self-explanatory, but I just thought I'd kind of show you guys just in case you were wondering. And you just slide this onto here like this, and slide that onto here like this, peg those in, slide him nice and neatly underneath here, and boom, you have him ready. So these chains in the back kind of just stay here for like decoration purposes, but it looks amazing. Look how good that looks. It's so amazing to see him in person like this, and you can kind of have him struggle a little bit, and you can have him take off these parts if you want. The whole point of it is why these parts are so loose in the first place is because he does break out of the actual chains pretty much just like this. It just comes out of the ground like that, so you can make it look like he's escaping. Again, he does rip this part off in the movie, so it kind of sucks that you can't unattach this. So I think that's kind of my only flaw. I don't think there's any other way. If there is, I don't know about it, but you could pretty much have him seated like this, or you can have him up with his mad face on, with the chains just kind of drooping down like this, and it's fantastic looking. It looks like a statue display base. Like, it's amazing. Yeah, this has to be one of my favorite figures of like all time. But it's so cool. I love this chair. I love the accessories that he comes with. It's gonna be so much fun to actually do some posability with this figure. And he does scale well with some other figures, which we'll be taking a look at right now. Been a while since you've seen an actual size comparison with different figures and these classic figures that I usually size comparison them with. But here we have the Neca Friday the 13th Part 7 Jason Voorhees, the Figma Doomslayer figure, the Batman Arkham Knight McFarlane figure, the Marvel Legends X-Men Origins Wolverine figure, the original Frankenstein figure by Neca Toys, the Sideshow Son of Frankenstein monster figure, and of course the Bride of Frankenstein figure with the monster. These two look absolutely stunning together. I cannot tell you how much of like a big nostalgia blast this is. This is insane. It looks so lifelike, especially that Frankenstein monster figure. That's insane on how just realistic these figures are, and it's so cool. This figure has to be one of the best NECA Universal Monster figures by far. I think all these little accessories are just so heartwarming because they represent a scene that is just so touching in the Bride of Frankenstein movie. And it also comes with one of the most tragic scenes in the movie with this most iconic piece of work. It's amazing on how amazing they made this chair. And you can just tell that the people who were behind this figure put in a lot of thought and love into this whole figure, that it's just like, it's perfect. It's absolutely amazing. My only tiny complaints would have to be this whole neck piece there here that it can't detach, and my tiny little nitpick of having the shoulders a little bit more wider than they should be. But other than that, it's perfect. It's beautiful. The accessories are amazing. The likeness and the sculpt work on this figure is fantastic, and just the bonus display piece is amazing. They could have taken their regular route and just made it into a like the accessory pack where it's just the chair by itself with maybe an extra head sculpt. But no, they included it with the figure, and I have to give them so much props for that, because that is an amazing decision that they made there. But this is such an awesome figure. It's amazing on how they did this figure. Again, the paint, the sculpt, the accuracy, the quality is amazing. So overall, I have to say that this figure 100% deserves that 5 out of 5 scoring. It's perfect. There is basically nothing wrong with this figure. If you guys are kind of on the fence about getting this figure, I would 100% get this, because this is a fantastic figure. It looks amazing, and it's just gonna pop in your display, especially with that chair. But yeah, that's all I have to say. It's so cool looking, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So let's get on to this little outro, and I gotta find a spot to put this guy now. And that is it. We're done. We finally took a look at this figure. I'm so happy with this figure. It's so cool. I cannot wait to find a spot for it in the collection. I really need to sort through this whole little spot here and find a little good spot for him. So that is pretty much the end of this video. I hope you guys did enjoy this one. Leave a like, comment if you feel like it. If you don't, that's totally fine. While you're at it, you can check out the other stuff that I've looked at. I have taken a look at every single Universal Monster figure, except for 2, but that's coming in October. I'm saving those for October. I couldn't wait for this one. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next review.